and girls. Today we're going to be talking about science tools. Our TEAC for science tools is 5.4a. I can collect, record, and analyze information using tools such as these. So I'm going to go through almost every single tool on our list. You need your journal because we're going to write these down in our journal. We're going to make a list. I may go kind of fast because I think I have time for a 10-minute video, so you could go back, pause it. In your journal, we're going to be on page 2. Write tools. Okay. Then we're going to skip our page from the TEACs. We're going to go to page 2 on the top. We're going to write tools. Underline it. Put today's date. I think it's, yes, it is the 24th. Okay, and we're going to list. Here we go. Our first tool is our microscope. Microscope. So the microscope helps us to see things that are very, very small. So I'm going to try to zoom the camera in so we can see the insect wing in the microscope. That's an insect wing. So when I pull the slide out, you can see how very small the insect wing is and how the microscope helps it to see the wing much better. All right, everyone, number 1, let's write microscope. Whoops, scope, microscope, to see very, and I shouldn't have done that, very small objects. Okay, our next tool, science tool, is we have a balance. And this one is actually a triple beam balance because it has 3 beams. Notice they are all on 0. The beam will find mass in grams. So when we use the triple beam balance, we always start with the 100s. And we move it along until the beam goes down. So 400 is too much. I'm going to back it up to the 300. Next I go to the tens beam. I move it along. 70 is too much. I'm going to back it up to the 60. And I go to the ones beam, tap, 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 and I'm looking for when the lines line up, when it's equal, that is the bottle's mass in grams. Okay, so now I'm going to add up my numbers. It is 364.5, and you can see how it is, the lines line up. It is balanced. Okay, so we're going to go to number 2 in our journal, and we're going to write triple beam balance. Okay, and the triple beam balance finds mass in grams. The triple beam balance. The other kind of balance that we have, this one is called the pan balance because notice it has the 2 pans. Okay, so before you start, you usually want your little needle. They should both be on 0. Should be in the middle. This one needs some working in the back. Okay, I think it's ready now. On 0. So again, I'm going to put my hand sanitizer in here again. It's always interesting to see if it's going to measure about the same. Okay, so we're going to start with our biggest weights, and the biggest weights that I have are the 50. 2 is 100. There's 200. I'm kind of going fast because I know from the triple beam balance it was 300. So we have 250. 250, 60, 70, 80, 90. There's the 300. We have 340. Still not moving. 350, 360, 370. Okay, notice 70 was too much. It went all the way down. So now we're going to try to balance it out. So it's, I just lost my number.
360.
360, 360, 365. Still too much. So now I'm going to use my ones. 361, 362, 363, 363. So on the pan balance, it measured 363. What would you say this one was?
364.
364. So very close. Very close. All right. Our next tool that we have is the graduated cylinder. So the graduated cylinder, we can use it to measure liquids in milliliters. And we have two different ones. So this one measures more. And this one measures up to 500 milliliters. This one will only measure up to 100 milliliters. Okay. We can also use the graduated cylinder to find volume of like round objects or objects that are not square or rectangle. And we're going to have a whole lab to do that. So put number 3, put graduated cylinder. It finds volume of objects. Could also find volume of liquids. And that is measured in cubic centimeters. Okay, cubic centimeters. Next we have our beaker. Number 4, the beaker. The beaker also comes in different sizes and measures liquids in milliliters. The smaller one. We're going to write number 4, beaker. Measures liquids in milliliters. I'm thinking there's 2 L's. It's good? Milliliters. I have to check my spelling on that one. All right, next we have the timer. This is a stopwatch. Hit start and then stop, and you can see how much time has gone by. So number 5, right, stopwatch. And it measures time. We'll measure seconds, minutes, hours. Another stopwatch. All right, next we have our thermometer. I actually have 2 thermometers here. So my little thermometer, and in science class we always use Celsius. But the little thermometer is for the window to measure the air, to see how warm it is, either outside or in the classroom. And then I also have another thermometer. We use these in the classroom. Again, they're in Celsius, and we can put them in liquids to see how warm the liquid is, to measure how much heat something has. Okay, that is our thermometer. So number 6, here's our word. Thermometer measures temperature in Celsius. And usually when we write temperature with a number, we put the little degree and the C for Celsius. That's how that looks. Okay. Hand lens. Okay. We know that the hand lens helps us to see things, makes things look bigger. So we use it for things that are not as small as the microscope. We use these to observe maybe particles in the dirt. It might help me look at an insect, but it's not going to measure, it's not going to magnify as well as the microscope does. So you can see how it magnifies the letters. Okay, number 7. Write hand lens. If you prefer to write magnifying glass, you can do that. Hand lens makes objects appear larger. Number 8, we have rulers. We have a variety of rulers. Okay, I have this ruler, and we would use this for smaller things. We always use centimeters. In science, you always use centimeters. Next, we have the meter stick. So now we're going to use objects that are a bit bigger, like our desk. With the meter stick, goes all the way to 100 meters. Centimeters, sorry. 100 centimeters is 1 meter. And then we have the measuring tape. And if you lay it here, you can see that it is longer than the meter stick. And people who work in construction, they have a very long measuring tape that kind of winds up. Rulers, oops, I forgot an R. Rulers measures length. Okay, we're gonna have to turn the page. Now remember, in our journal, when we are turning the page, we don't write on the back, do not write here. We're gonna go to the next page, and we're just gonna title tools again. You do ... for continuation of tools. We are almost done. We have our safety items. So for safety, we have, number 9, gloves. 10, we have goggles. So gloves protect hands. And goggles protect eyes. Okay. Number 11, we have our spring scale. We are going to be using our spring scale when we investigate force. Okay. Here's the side that measures newtons. It measures how much force it takes to move something. So if I try to pick something up, it's going to measure, and this isn't very heavy, it's going to measure how much force it takes to pick it up. So we will be investigating that. So for number 11, I'm going to write spring scale. Measures force in newtons. Okay, number 12, we have our magnet, okay, which we know is attracted to iron. And we're also going to be doing an investigation with a magnet, because magnetism is a physical property. So I'm going to write magnet attracts iron. Okay, 13. You got one of these in your little goodie bag, your science goodie bag. It is a dropper. To drop liquids. Okay, and we have a Petri dish. We don't really use a Petri dish in 5th grade. I'm not going to write that one down for right now, but you will probably be using this in high school, maybe junior high. Next we have our hot plate. We use our hot plate a lot. Makes things get hot. Okay, 15, our last one, calculator. A lot of us have a calculator on our phone. we just use the calculator app on our phone. It's used to do math. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, calculating. Okay? So those are our 15 main tools that we use in our science lab